Hey, what's up YouTube, Mario here, and it's finally here, the Hollow Heroes guide video. In this video, I'll be somewhat breaking down each of the monsters and their possible uses, making it a bit easier for you to pick one. And then I'll be telling you what I'm picking and why I'm picking it. I know we're almost 5 weeks in, but we still have a while to go for this event, and I'll still be covering the weeks that I missed, so you can see if you made the right choice for your account. If this video helps you out in any way, maybe consider leaving a like and subscribing. Now let's jump into it. Actually, before I start, I want to say a couple of things. I'm going to say that some of the units can be used as skill ups. I'm not saying that you should use them as skill ups. I'm saying that they can potentially be used as skill ups if you need them for that. And personally, I would recommend going for the light and dark units if you don't have them, because I feel like they're more likely to get buffed, and when they do get buffed, they're going to be better than the elementals. Alright, for week 1, we have the Fire Nine-Tailed Fox, the Water Rakshasa, Wind Undyne, Light Ninja, and the Dark Puree. So we have the Fire Nine-Tailed Fox. She has a 40% fire attack lead. She's used in R5, specifically BJR5. She's used in some siege offenses, some 4-star offenses. I've never really used her. And then I'd also recommend her as skill ups for the Light Nine-Tailed Fox, which is also going to be an option for the Hollow Heroes later down the line. Now we have the Water Rakshasa. She has a 25% attack lead. She might be used in a niche siege offense. I can't really think of a use for her, but she's good for skill ups for the rest of her family, the Light, Dark, Wind, and Fire Rakshasas. Now we have the Wind Undyne. She has a 40% wind defense lead. I like to use her in arena offense with Leo. She's pretty good in siege offense as well. She's one of the few units that have Oblivion as a skill, and she can also be used to skill up the Light and Dark Undyne, the dark one being next week. Now we have the Light Ninja. He has a 30% light speed lead. I like to use him in siege offense with Dova, Tion, and then Lucian. You can also use him in arena offense if you don't have a 33% lead with something like Kabila, Dova, Tion, Lucian. He's also great skill ups for the Wind and Water Ninja. And our last option is the Dark Puree. She has a 30% accuracy lead. She is a huge PvE nuker in Giant's Abyss Hard, Dragon's Abyss Hard. She was a really great mon before the buff, but after the buff, she has that skill 3 up just about all the time now for the boss, as long as the other AI doesn't mess up. Now you can also use her as skill ups for the Fire and Water Puree. Now I ended up going with the Light Ninja because I only had one before. I already had one Luna. You typically just only need one Luna, but you can use multiple Light Ninja in Siege / World Guild Battle. So you may have noticed that I've been using the Light Ninja a bit more this season. That's one of the reasons why. Now for week 2, we had the Fire Kung Fu Girl, Water Vampire, Wind Sylphid, Light Succubus, and Dark Phantom Thief. Now the Fire Kung Fu Girl has a 33% arena attack lead. She can be used as skill ups for the Water, Light, and Dark Kung Fu Girl. The Water Vampire has a 38% dungeon HP lead. He's used in RTA. I can see him being used in early TOA, and he's been used in some siege defenses recently. I would recommend using him as skill ups for the Light, Dark, and Fire Vampires. The Wind Sylphid has a 50% wind resistance lead. She's really great for TOA Hell. I like to use her in the stages where I need to tank some hits, and she's really good for skill ups for the Light and Dark Sylphids if you have them. The Light Succubus has a 33% arena HP lead. She's great for TOA, TOA Hard, and even TOA Hell. You can probably try her out in Siege Offense for some fun. She was used in Siege Defense for a bit. And as for skill ups, I think she's probably the best one. The other ones kind of suck, so I wouldn't recommend them. And last but not least, we have the Dark Phantom Thief. He has a 33% arena attack lead. He's used in some siege defenses, and he can be used as skill ups for the Water and Fire Phantom Thief. Now for this week, I ended up picking the Dark Phantom Thief because I already had one Light Succubus, and I feel like the Dark Phantom Thief is a little bit more likely to be used in siege defense in the future compared to the Light Succubus because of his passive. I don't think he can go wrong either way. I think the Light Succubus is a better option because of her kit. She can be used in a lot more places, but that's up to you to decide. For week 3, we have the Fire Brownie Magician, the Water Samurai, Wind Cobalt Bomber, Light Sylph, and Dark Death Knight. The Fire Brownie Magician has a 25% HP lead. He's used in Siege Offense, Siege Defense, Arena Offense, and even RTA. He's really great skill ups for the Water and Light Brownie. The Water Samurai is one of the few Hollow Hero monsters that is used for fusion, and you can also use them as skill ups for the Light and Dark Samurai. The Wind Cobalt Bomber has a 50% wind accuracy lead. You can maybe use them for something like arena offense, and you can use them to skill up the Light and Water Cobalt Bombers. The Light Sylph has a 24% dungeon speed lead. He can be used in TOA, TOA Hard, and maybe even TOA Hell. He's great for skill ups for the Water, Wind, and Dark Sylph. Now the Dark Death Knight has a 30% resistance lead. You can use him in R5. He's a really great unit for tanking light units in Siege and Arena. And for skill ups, I'd recommend skilling up the light one and maybe even the water one. Now for this week, I ended up picking up the Dark Death Knight instead of the Light Sylph. I already have one of the Light Sylph. I think you only need one. As for the Dark Death Knight, you could build multiple and use them for Siege. Even though I don't use my first one, maybe at some point I will start using them if it's needed. For week 4, we had the Fire Barbaric King, Water Neostone Fighter, Wind Mermaid, Light Pirate Captain, and Dark Magic Knight. The Fire Barbaric King has a 33% defense guild lead. I'd use him for skill ups for the Water, Wind, Light, and Dark Barbarian Kings. Now the Water Neostone Fighter has a 33% dungeon attack lead. I'd recommend using him as skill ups for the Fire and Light Neostone Fighters. The Wind Mermaid is used for siege defense and offense if you like to YOLO. She's really great skill ups for the Dark, Water, and the Light Mermaids. The Light Pirate Captain has a 40% accuracy guild lead. He has a buff block skill 3, so you could probably try him out for Steel Fort Abyss Hard, and he's really great skill ups for the Water and Dark Pirate Captains. And our last choice is the Dark Magic Knight. She has a 19% speed lead. Her skill 3 does a decent amount of nuke damage, and I'd recommend using her as skill ups for the Light, Fire, and even Water Magic Knights. Now for this week, I ended up picking the Light Pirate Captain because I didn't have one, so I wanted to fill the Pokédex with them. I already had the Dark Magic Knight, and if I already had the Light Pirate Captain, I would probably go for the Wind Mermaid as skill ups for my Tetra. Now we are caught up for week 5, which is going to be next week. We have the Fire Assassin, Water Lich, Wind Neostone Agent, Light Death Knight, and a Dark Undyne. The Fire Assassin has a 25% HP lead. Some people used to use her in the Wind Rift Beast, and I'd recommend her as skill ups for the Dark and Water Assassins. The Water Lich has a 33% HP arena lead. He is used in some niche siege offenses. I think he's used in RTA or Special League RTA, I can't remember. And he's great for skill ups for the Light and Dark Liches. The Wind Neostone Agent has a 33% defense guild lead. She's used in some siege offenses. I think she was used in Special League back then. And she's great for skill ups for the Light, Dark, and Water Neostone Agents. The Light Death Knight has a 19% speed lead. He was used in some of the siege tourney defenses. I know some of my guildies like to use him in a siege offense, and I'd recommend using them as skill ups for the Dark Death Knight and the Water Death Knight. The Dark Undyne has a 40% dark defense lead. She can be used in siege offense, even some arena offenses paired with Leo. She's good for skill ups for the Light and Wind Undyne. Now for this week, I'm going to be picking the Dark Undyne because I want to use her in the siege offense paired with Leo and another unit that you'll find out next week, so stay tuned. But yeah, I think she's a pretty good pick for this week. The Light Death Knight's pretty great as well. There's this really crazy Light Death Knight team, but you have to have a LD5, specifically Yan Hong. So if you have her, maybe go for him. But apparently you also need some really crazy runes to pair with him. Now for week 6, we have the Fire Jack-o'-lantern, Water Anubis, Wind Horus, Light Puree, and the Dark Rakshasa. The Fire Jack-o'-lantern has a 33% HP dungeon lead. I'd use them for skill ups for the Wind, Light, and Water Jack-o'-lanterns. The Water Anubis has a 40% resistance guild lead. I'd use them for skill ups for the Wind, Fire, Light, and Dark Anubis. The Wind Horus has a 24% crit rate arena lead. He's good for siege offense. You can maybe use him in Special League. And he's great for skill ups for the Water, Light, and Dark Horus. The Light Puree has a 30% resistance lead. I'd use it for skill ups for the Water, Dark, and Fire Puree. And the Dark Rakshasa has a 25% attack lead. I'd use it for skill ups for the Light and the Wind Rakshasa. Now honestly, I think this week kind of sucks. I have both of the LDs, so I'd probably go for skill ups here. The Fire Jack-o'-lantern is good for a Windy. The Light Puree might be good for Julie. I think that's what I'm going to go for. The Dark Rakshasa probably wouldn't use. Wind Horus probably wouldn't use. Water Anubis might be good for Ayunu, but I only really need one. So yeah, it'd probably be between the Light Puree and the Fire Jack. Most likely the Light Puree. For week 7, we have the Fire Samurai, Water Joker, Wind Pirate Captain, the Light Brownie Magician, and Dark Cobalt Bomber. The Fire Samurai, I would just use them for skill ups for the Light and Dark Samurai. The Water Joker has a 33% HP dungeon lead. He's used in siege offense. I know some people like to use him as a last pick in RTA, or at least a while ago they did. He can be used as a bomber in arena offense, and you can use him as skills for the Wind, Light, and Dark Joker. The Wind Pirate Captain has a 24% crit rate guild lead. He can be used as skills for the Water and Dark Pirate Captains. The Light Brownie Magician has a 19% speed lead. You can use him in siege offense, Special League, RTA. He's great for skills for the Water and Fire Brownie Magicians. The Dark Cobalt Bomber has a 50% dark accuracy lead. I know some people used to use them in RTA. I don't know if that's still a thing. And you can use them for skill ups for the Water and Light Cobalt Bombers. For this week, I'd personally go for the Light Brownie Magician. I already have both of the LDs, But yeah, it'd be between the Light Brownie Magician and Water Joker for me. I've been trying to build more Lucians, so I need skill ups, so it might be the Water Joker. For week 8, we had the Fire Puree, Water Barbarian King, Wind Sylph, Light Undyne, and the Dark Neostone Fighter. The Fire Puree has a 19% speed lead. She's used in Siege Defense. I think she's used in Special League and RTA. You can use her in Arena Defense, and you can use her as skill ups for the Water and Dark Puree. The Water Barbarian King has a 33% HP guild lead. I used to use him in Siege Offense. I'm not too sure if he's relevant now. And you can use them as skill ups for the Wind, Light, and Dark Barbarian Kings. The Wind Sylph has a 24% Arena speed lead. You can use them in Arena Offense. You can use them in Special League, maybe even RTA in the Cleave team. And you can use them as skill ups for the Water, Light, and Dark Sylph. The Light Undyne has a 40% Light defense lead. I'm not too sure where you can use her. You can maybe use her in Siege Offense, Arena Offense. I'm not too sure. And you can use her for skill ups for the Wind and Dark Undyne. The Dark Neostone Fighter has a 25% attack lead. You can use them as skill ups for the Fire and Light Neostone Fighter. For this week, I think I'm going to go for the Fire Puree as skill ups for my Julie. The Light Undyne might be another option, but I'm not too sure exactly where I would use her. For week 9, we have the Fire Death Knight, Water Mermaid, Wind Magic Knight, Light Assassin, Dark Jack-o'-lantern. The Fire Death Knight has a 25% HP lead. You can use them in some niche siege offenses. You can use them as skill ups for the Dark Death Knight and the Water one. The Water Mermaid, you can use her in Siege Offense, Arena Offense, maybe even Special League and RTA. I'd recommend using her as skill ups for the Wind, Light, and Dark Mermaids. The Wind Magic Knight has a 19% crit rate lead. She's one of the few mons on this list that you can use for fusion, and you can use it for skill ups for the Fire, Light, and Water Magic Knight. The Light Assassin has a 30% accuracy lead. You can use it for skill ups for the Water and Dark Assassin. The Dark Jack-o'-lantern has a 40% dungeon resistance lead. He can be used in niche siege offenses. I remember seeing him being used in Special League and RTA in the Cleave team. For this week, I already have the LDs, so I think I'm going to probably go for the Water Mermaid. I want to build a few more and skill them up. My first one doesn't even have all the skill ups. For week 10, we have the Fire Lich, Water Sky Dancer, Wind Ninja, Light Phantom Thief, and Dark Nine-Tailed Fox. The Fire Lich has a 24% crit rate arena lead. You can use them in Special League, RTA, Arena Defense, and you can use them as skill ups for the Light and Dark Liches. The Water Sky Dancer has a 28% speed guild lead. You can use her in Siege Offense, Siege Defense, R5, and you can use her as skill ups for the Light and Dark Sky Dancers. The Wind Ninja has a 30% wind speed lead. You can use them in Arena Offense. You can use them in some niche siege offenses, and you can use them as skill ups for the Fire, Water, Light, and Dark Ninjas. The Light Phantom Thief has a 33% defense lead. I'd use them for skill ups for the Water, Fire, and Dark Phantom Thief. The Dark Nine-Tailed Fox has a 40% dark attack lead. You can maybe use her in some niche siege offenses, and you can use her as skill ups for the Fire and Light Nine-Tailed Foxes. Now for this week, since I have both of the LDs, I think I would go for the Water Sky Dancer. I would like to build more Miangs and fully skill them up. In my opinion, the LDs for this week suck. For week 11, we have the Fire Horse, Water Jack-o'-lantern, Wind Dice Magician, Light Kung Fu Girl, and Dark Brownie Magician. The Fire Horse has a 33% Arena HP lead. You can use them as skill ups for the Wind, Water, Light, and Dark Horus. The Water Jack-o'-lantern is used in Siege Offense, Siege Defense, Arena Offense, Arena Defense, Special League, and RTA maybe. You can also use them as skill ups for the Wind and Light Jack-o'-lanterns. The Wind Dice Magician has a 40% Arena accuracy lead. You can use them as skill ups for the Fire, Light, Dark Dice Magicians. The Light Kung Fu Girl has a 24% Arena crit rate lead. You can use her in Siege Defense, maybe even some Siege offenses if you want to have fun. I think she might be useful for Special League, not too sure. And you can use her for skill ups for the Water and Dark Kung Fu Girl. The Dark Brownie Magician has a 19% crit rate lead. You can use them as skill ups for the Water, Fire, and Light Brownie Magicians. For this week, I already have both of the LDs. I think I would probably go for more Lumays. I could see her becoming meta at some point again, especially if they give her a slight buff. But I think she's still a pretty good unit overall. For week 12, we have the Fire Neostone Fighter, Water Death Knight, Wind Phantom Thief, Light Chakram Dancer, and Dark Assassin. The Fire Neostone Fighter has a 33% Arena attack lead. You can use them in some niche siege offenses, and you can use them as skills for the Light Neostone Fighter. The Water Death Knight has a 25% defense lead. You can use them in some niche siege offenses, and you can use them as skills for the Dark Death Knight. The Wind Phantom Thief has a 33% Arena HP lead. You can use them as skills for the Water and Dark Phantom Thieves. The Light Chakram Dancer has a 24% dungeon speed lead. If I remember correctly, I think you can use her in Dragon's Abyss Hard in a certain team, and you can use her as skills for the Water and Fire Chakram Dancers. The Dark Assassin has a 19% speed lead. You can use her in Siege Offense. Some people were using her in Siege Defense not too long ago. And you can use her as skill ups for the Water Assassin. For this week, I already have both of the LDs. I might go for the Dark Assassin, and that way I could probably build that Gemini Kabila Dark Assassin team sometime in the future. I know a lot of people have been running it. It seems fun, but it's really sketchy, so we'll see what happens with that. For week 13, we have the Fire Sniper, Water Neostone Agent, Wind Dryad, Light Joker, and Dark Succubus. The Fire Sniper has a 24% guild speed lead. You can use him in Siege Defense, Siege Offense. I like to use them in my Dimensional Raid 3rd team for breaking the shields, and you can also use them for skill ups for the Water and Light Snipers. The Water Neostone Agent has a 40% guild resistance lead. You can use her in Tartarus, Hard, and Hell, and she's one of the few mons that you can use for fusion, and she can be used as skill ups for the Wind, Fire, Light, and Dark Neostone Agents. The Wind Dryad has a 33% guild HP lead. She was used in early Giants, so that might be a thing for you, and she's also one of the few monsters that you can use for fusion. You can use her as skill ups for the Water, Light, and Dark Dryad. The Light Joker has a 40% dungeon resistance lead. He was used in some siege defenses for a bit. You might be able to use him in arena defense as well as a stall unit. You can use him as skill ups for the Wind, Water, and Dark Joker. The Dark Succubus has a 33% arena defense lead. You can use her as skill ups for the Light Succubus. For this week, I have both of the LDs. I think I would probably go for the Light Joker. If he gets buffed anytime soon, then I have him as an option. If he doesn't get buffed, then I can use him as skill ups for my Lucian. For week 14, we have the Fire Sylphid, Water Harp Magician, Wind Boomerang Warrior, Light Jack-o'-lantern, and the Dark Barbaric King. The Fire Sylphid has a 50% fire resistance lead. I used to use her in my R5, my solo R5 team, and you can use her as skill ups for the Wind, Light, and Dark Sylphids. The Water Harp Magician has a 40% guild resistance lead. You can maybe use her in Special League, and you can use her as skill ups for the Fire, Wind, Light, and Dark Harp Magicians. The Wind Boomerang Warrior has a 24% guild speed lead. You can use her in a niche siege defense. I know some people used to use her with Claire Up and then one of the Chakram Dancers. And you can also use her as skill ups for the Water, Dark, Light Boomerang Warriors. The Light Jack-o'-lantern has a 24% dungeon crit rate lead. You can use them in siege defense. Some people use them in siege offense. You can use them as skill ups for the Wind and Water Jack-o'-lanterns. The Dark Barbaric King has a 40% guild resistance lead. I think he's just a fun unit to use because of his Vile procs. And you can use them as skill ups for the Water, Wind, and Light Barbaric King. Now for this week, I have both of the LDs. I think I'm going to go for the Light Jack-o'-lantern. He's a pretty great unit, and if I don't end up using him, I can use him as skill ups for my Windy, or if I decide to build more Chillings than for Chilling. For week 15, we have the Fire Sky Dancer, Water Cannon Girl, Wind Assassin, Light Rakshasa, and Dark Dice Magician. The Fire Sky Dancer has a 33% guild attack lead. I know some people used to use her in a niche siege defense and siege offense. You can use her in Wind Rift Beast, and she's good for skill ups for the Water, Light, and Dark Sky Dancers. The Water Cannon Girl has a 38% dungeon attack lead. She's really great for Necro Abyss Hard, and you can use her for skill ups for the Wind, Light, and Dark Cannon Girls. The Wind Assassin has a 19% crit rate lead. You can use her as skill ups for the Water and Dark Assassins. The Light Rakshasa has a 19% crit rate lead, and you can probably use her in early Giants and Steel Fort as a daughter if that team still exists. And you can use her as skill ups for the Wind and Dark Rakshasa. The Dark Dice Magician has a 40% arena resistance lead. You can use them in siege defense, and you can use them as skill ups for the Light Dice Magician. For this week, I already have both of the LDs. I personally really like the Dark Dice Magician. He's a really great RNG unit for siege defense, but I'm gonna go with the Fire Sky Dancer. That way I can skill up my Miangs. For week 16, we have the Fire Magic Knight, Water Cobalt Bomber, Wind Chakram Dancer, the Light Nine-Tailed Fox, and the Dark Samurai. The Fire Magic Knight has a 25% HP lead. She's good for early Necro. You can use her in Monster Subjugation. You can use her in TOA, TOA Hard. And you can use her as skill ups for the Water and Light Magic Knight. The Water Cobalt Bomber has a 50% water accuracy lead. He's good for siege offense, arena offense. You can use him as skill ups for the Light Cobalt Bomber. The Wind Chakram Dancer has a 33% HP dungeon lead. You can use her for the Water Rift Beast, and you can use her as skill ups for the Fire, Water, and Light Chakrams. The Light Nine-Tailed Fox has a 40% light attack lead. You can use her in siege defense, and you can probably use her in siege offense. The Dark Samurai can be used for arena offense, siege offense, and you can also use them as skill ups for the Light Samurai. As to what I'm picking for this week, I'm going to pick the Light Nine-Tailed Fox. I actually missed out on her, and she's a really great unit. She's really crazy. She procs a lot. For week 17, we have the Fire Dryad, Water Succubus, Wind Puree, Light Gargoyle, and the Dark Sylph. The Fire Dryad has a 40% guild resistance lead. You can use her as skills for the Water, Wind, Light, and Dark Dryads. The Water Succubus has a 24% arena speed lead. You might be able to use her in Special League, I'm not too sure. And you can use her as skills for the Light Succubus. The Wind Puree has a 30% resistance lead. You can use her in Giants, Early Giants, and you can potentially use her in Giants Abyss Hard. But Luna is just a lot better, and you can use her as skills for the Water and Dark Puree. The Light Gargoyle has a 40% light HP lead. You can use them in some niche siege offenses, and you can use them as skills for the Wind and Fire Gargoyles. The Dark Sylph has a 90% speed lead. You can use him for TOA, TOA Hard, maybe even TOA Hell, and he's great for skills for the Water, Wind, and Light Sylph. I already have both of the LDs here. I think the Light Gargoyle might be pretty nice for some niche siege offenses, but I think I'm going to go for the Wind Puree so I can scale up my Julie. For week 18, we had the Fire Boomerang Warrior, Water Phantom Thief, Wind Anubis, Light String Master, and the Dark Blade Dancer. The Fire Boomerang Warrior has a 33% guild HP lead. You can use it as skills for the Water, Light, and Dark Boomerang. The Water Phantom Thief has a 40% arena accuracy lead. Some people like to use them in place of Galleon, but I think Galleon is a lot better with the attack buff. And you can use them as skills for the Dark Phantom Thief. The Wind Anubis has a 40% guild accuracy lead. You can use him in siege offense and siege defense. And he's great for skills for the Fire, Light, and Dark Anubis. The Light String Master has a 33% guild defense lead. You can use her in siege offense. You can use her in TOA Hell. And you can use her for skills for the Fire, Water, Wind, and Dark String Masters. They're a really great family. The Dark Blade Dancer might have some niche uses in Special League and RTA. Maybe even siege defense. I'd say she's great for skill ups for the Light Blade Dancer. Now for this week, I have both of the LDs. I'm going to go for the Light String Master because she's a pretty great unit, and if I don't use her, then I'm going to use her as skill ups for my other String Masters. For week 19, we had the Fire Pirate Captain, Water Sylphid, Wind Lich, Light Neostone Fighter, and the Dark Dryad. The Fire Pirate Captain has a 33% guild attack lead, and I'd say you can use it for skills for the Water and Dark Pirate Captains. The Water Sylphid has a 50% water resistant lead, and I'd say you should use her for skills for the Wind, Light, and Dark Sylphid. The Wind Lich has a 33% arena attack lead, skill ups for the Light and Dark Liches. The Light Neostone Fighter has a 25% attack lead. Some people use them in siege offense, and you can use them for skills for the Fire Neostone Fighter. The Dark Dryad has a 24% guild speed lead. You can use her on siege defense, and you can use her as skills for the Water, Wind, and Light Dryads. For this week, I already have both of the LDs. I think I'm going to go with the Dark Dryad because of the 24% guild speed lead. And if I don't end up using her, I can use her as skills for the other Dryads. For week 20, we had the Fire Mermaid, Water Gargoyle, Wind Sniper, Light Poison Master, and the Dark Chorus. Personally, I would just use the Fire Mermaid as skills for the Wind, Water, Light, and Dark Mermaids. The Water Gargoyle has a 40% water HP lead. You can use them as skills for the Wind, Fire, and Light Gargoyles. The Wind Sniper has a 40% guild resistance lead. I think he has some play in RTA, but I can't really remember. You can use them in Dimensional Raid for the third team, and you can use them as skills for the Water, Light, and Fire Sniper. The Light Poison Master has a 40% dungeon resistance lead. You can use them as skills for the Water and Dark Poison Master. The Dark Horse has a 30% arena attack lead. You can use them for arena defense, Special League, RTA. I think some people even use them in some very niche siege defenses, and you can use them as skills for the Wind, Water, and Light Horus. For this week, I already have both of the LDs, so I might pick the Mermaid or Gargoyles for skill ups. I think that the Light Poison Master really sucks, and the Dark Horse is really good, so if you don't have the Dark Horse, that might be one to pick. For week 21, we have the Fire Dice Magician, Water String Master, Wind Brownie Magician, Light Barbarian King, and the Dark Chakram Dancer. The Fire Dice Magician has a 33% arena defense lead. I know some people used to use them in siege defense, and you can use them for skill ups for the Light and Dark Dice Magicians. The Water String Master has a 40% guild accuracy lead. You can use her in a niche siege offense. You can use her in TOA Hell as well. And you can also use her as skills for the Wind, Fire, Light, and Dark String Masters. The Wind Brownie Magician has a 25% attack lead. I know some people used to like using him in arena offense. I don't know if they still do. And you can also use them as skills for the Water, Fire, and Light Brownie Magicians. The Light Barbarian King has a 24% guild speed lead. You can use them in siege defense, even siege offense. You can use them as skills for the Water and Wind Barbarian Kings. The Dark Chakram Dancer has a 40% dungeon accuracy lead. You can use her as skills for the Fire, Water, and Light Chakram Dancers. As for this week, what I'll be picking, I'm most likely going to be picking either the Light Barbarian King or the Water String Master for skill ups. I think the Light Barbarian King is a really good unit for siege defense, but unfortunately he doesn't really see much play anymore. For week 22, we had the Fire Blade Dancer, Water Onimusha, Wind Rune Blacksmith, the Light Cannon Girl, and the Dark Hypno Meow. The Fire Blade Dancer, I'd use her for skills for the Light and Dark Blade Dancer. The Water Onimusha is great for Arena Offense, Siege Offense, a niche Siege Defense, Special League, RTA. He's one of the few mons on this list that can be used for fusion, and you can use them for skills for the Fire, Wind, Light, and Dark Onimusha. The Wind Rune Blacksmith has a 40% wind defense lead, and she can be used for skills for the Light and Dark Blacksmith. The Light Cannon Girl has a 28% attack lead. You can use her in Siege Defense, and you can use her as skills for the Water, Wind, and Dark Cannon Girl. The Dark Hypno Meow can be used in Siege Defense, sometimes in Siege Offense, and you can use them as skills for the Water, Fire, and Light Hypno Meow. For this week, I already have both of the LDs. I think I'm going to go with the Light Cannon Girl. She's a really great unit. She's really fun to use on Siege Offense, even though it's probably not the safest thing, but she's really fun to use. For week 23, we had the Fire Robo, Water Kung Fu Girl, Wind Rakshasa, Light Samurai, and the Dark Sniper. The Fire Robo can be used in Special League and RTA. Skill ups for the Wind, Light, and Dark Robo. The Water Kung Fu Girl has a 33% arena defense lead. You can use her in R5, the Fire Rift Beast, and skill ups for the Light and Dark Kung Fu Girl. The Wind Rakshasa has a 25% attack lead. You can use her in some niche siege offenses, and you can use her in early Giants and Steel Fort. You can also use her as skill ups for the Light and Dark Rakshasa. The Light Samurai can be used in arena offense, maybe even some siege offenses, and you can use them as skill ups for the Dark Samurai. The Dark Sniper has a 19% crit rate lead, and you can use them for skill ups for the Fire, Water, and Light Sniper. For this week, I actually missed out on the Dark Sniper when he recently came out in the Hall of Heroes, so that's what I'm going to be going for that week. And finally, we made it to week 24. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to leave a comment as to what your guess is for the fire unit that week. Then we have the Water Chakram Dancer, the Wind Poison Master, the Light Black Tea Bunny, and the Dark Gargoyle. The Water Chakram Dancer has a 24% dungeon crit rate lead. She's good for Rift Beasts, R5, early Dragons, and skill ups for the Fire and Light Chakram Dancers. The Wind Poison Master has a 24% dungeon crit rate lead. You can use them as skill ups for the Water and Dark Poison Masters. The Light Black Tea Bunny can be used in Siege Defense, maybe TOA, TOA Hard, and TOA Hell. The Dark Gargoyle has a 40% Dark HP lead. You can use them in Siege Offense, Arena Offense, even Arena Defense, and you can use them for skill ups for the Wind, Fire, and Light Gargoyles. For this week, I already have both of the LDs, and recently they also nerfed the Dark Gargoyle, so I think I might be picking up the Light Black Tea Bunny unless that Fire unit is something I don't have or is something that I need skill ups of. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you out in any way, shape, or form, maybe consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribing, because this video took me a really long time to make. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.